Imagine this, a little black girl, only 10 years old, standing on the side of the road with an old rusty toolbox in her hands. She doesn't have money, she doesn't have power, but she has a golden heart and one small thing that will change a millionaire's life forever. Because when that millionaire notices the tiny ring on her finger, the truth he discovers will bring tears to his eyes. In one of the city's oldest and poorest neighborhoods lived a little 10-year-old black girl named Aaliyah. Her mother worked as a maid, cleaning houses all day just to survive. Her father had once been a brave army mechanic, but during a dangerous mission he sacrificed his life for his country. The only memory Aaliyah had of him was an old silver ring engraved with a small eagle. Her father always told her, "Sweetheart, whenever you feel weak, just look at this ring. It will remind you that you are strong and you can achieve anything." From that day on, Aaliyah never took the ring off her finger. Aaliyah had a strange passion for her age, cars and engines. Every day after school, she would stop by an old garage watching the mechanics at work. She'd see them open bonnets, check wires, fix batteries, and somehow she memorized it all. Slowly, she began to learn little things herself: how to pump tires, how to connect a battery, even how to handle a few tools. She kept a small, rusty toolbox with her at all times. It once belonged to her father. Inside that box lived her dream. One day she too would work on real cars. Meanwhile, in the same city lived a wealthy businessman named Robert Thompson. Robert was a millionaire, known for his expensive lifestyle and love for luxury cars, especially his pride, a shiny black Mustang GT. But people also knew him as arrogant, selfish, and cold-hearted. To him, money was everything. He believed poor people were just a burden. One day, Robert was driving his Mustang through the city on his way to an important business meeting, but fate had other plans. As his Mustang roared down the road, suddenly the car jerked and came to a complete stop. The engine shut off. Robert tried the ignition again and again, but the car just wouldn't start. Frustrated, he stepped out, opened the hood and stared inside, but he had no clue what was wrong. That's when he noticed a little girl with a rusty toolbox standing nearby. It was Aaliyah. "Sir, would you like me to help? Maybe I can figure out the problem." Robert burst out laughing. "You? A little girl fixing my Mustang? This isn't a toy car, sweetheart." But as Robert looked around, he realized no mechanic was nearby and he was running late for his meeting. With no choice left, he sighed and said, "Robert, fine, go ahead. The car's not starting anyway." Aaliyah calmly peeked under the hood. She checked the wires, examined the spark plugs, and after just a few minutes she found the issue, a loose wire near the fuel pump. Taking out her tiny screwdriver, she tightened it, then turned to Robert with a smile. "Okay, sir, try it now." Robert hesitated, then turned the ignition. To his shock, the Mustang roared back to life, louder than ever. His eyes widened. "No way! How did you do that?" "Aaliyah, my dad was a mechanic in the army. He taught me a few things. I just remembered what he showed me." For the first time, Robert felt something stir inside him, but he quickly covered it up. Pulling out a $100 bill, he handed it to Aaliyah. "Here, take this. You earned it. Go buy yourself some toys or chocolate." But Aaliyah shook her head. "Aaliyah, I don't want money, sir. I just want to learn more about cars. If you ever give me the chance to learn, that would make me happy." Robert frowned. "I don't have time for that, kid. You should just take the money." But still, Aaliyah refused. Robert sat back in his car, ready to drive away. But just as he reached for the gear, his eyes caught a small glimmer, the silver ring on Aaliyah's finger. He froze. Rolling down the window, he asked in a trembling voice, "Robert, that ring, where did you get it?" Aaliyah looked at her hand, gently touched the ring, and replied with love in her voice, "Aaliyah, it was my daddy's. He was in the army. He told me, whenever life feels hard, just look at this ring. It will remind you that you're strong." Robert's face went pale. His hands trembled. His eyes filled with tears. But why? Why was he so shaken by that ring? Was it just a coincidence, or was there a hidden connection? And that's where this part of the story ends. Could a small silver ring, a little girl, and a millionaire be connected in a way no one could imagine? What Robert was about to discover would shake his world and change his life forever. You think a little girl with an old rusty toolbox can't change a millionaire's life? Think again, because when Robert discovered the truth behind that tiny silver ring on Aaliyah's finger, it shook him to the core. And what happened next would transform his life forever. That night, Robert couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Aaliyah's innocent face and that ring. It wasn't just any ring. The design, the eagle engraved on it, looked almost identical to a ring his own father once wore. His father, too, had been an army man who gave his life in service years ago. Robert had locked away those memories long ago, burying them under money, power, and arrogance. But Aaliyah's words brought it all rushing back. He couldn't shake the thought. Who was her father? Could there really be a connection? The next morning, Robert skipped his board meeting, something he never did. Instead, he drove back to that old neighborhood, determined to find her. He searched the streets until finally he spotted her. Aaliyah, playing with some kids outside a small, broken-down house. Robert approached cautiously. Aaliyah froze for a moment, unsure why the rich man had returned. Her mother stepped out of the house, wiping her hands on her apron, suspicious of this unexpected visitor. Robert, I wanted to see Aaliyah again. She helped me yesterday, and there's something about that ring. Her mother looked shocked, clutching Aaliyah close. Mother, that ring belonged to her father. He was an army mechanic. He gave his life in service 5 years ago. Robert's throat tightened. His father had served in the same unit. Could it be possible? Robert cleared his throat and tried to compose himself. Robert, listen. Your daughter is gifted. She fixed my Mustang like no one else could. I run a garage and have connections with engineers. I want her to come and learn there, and I'll also help with her schooling. Aaliyah's mother was stunned. Tears welled in her eyes. For years she had worked day and night, but opportunities like this never came. Mother, why would a man like you care about us? Robert paused. For the first time in years, he spoke from the heart. Robert, because your daughter reminded me of something I had forgotten, what it means to fight, to dream, to believe in more than just money. Aaliyah's face lit up with joy. From that day forward, Robert took Aaliyah under his wing. Every weekend she came to his garage. While others thought she was just a kid, Robert knew she was special. He let her tinker with engines, watch him work on luxury cars, and slowly he taught her things most mechanics took years to learn. Aaliyah's natural talent shocked everyone. She was quick, curious, and fearless. Robert started seeing his younger self in her, the boy who once looked up to his own father before life hardened him. And every time he saw the ring on her finger, his chest tightened. One evening, while Aaliyah was working on a car, Robert finally asked the question burning inside him. Robert, Aaliyah, do you know your father's full name? Aaliyah smiled proudly. Aaliyah, yes, Sergeant Michael Carter. Robert froze. His hands trembled. His father had served alongside Sergeant Carter. In fact, it was Carter who once saved Robert's father's life in battle. Now Robert understood. This wasn't coincidence. Fate had brought Aaliyah into his life. Tears filled his eyes as he whispered to himself, Robert, your father, he was a hero. And now it's my turn to honor his sacrifice. Months passed. Aaliyah grew sharper, more skilled, and more confident. Robert made sure her mother had enough support, paying their bills and even helping repair their broken-down home. Then one day, Robert called Aaliyah and her mother to his office. He handed Aaliyah a folder. Inside were documents, a full scholarship for engineering school, mentorship programs, and even a sponsorship in her father's honor. But Aaliyah, you're not just a little girl with a toolbox. You're a future engineer, maybe even an inventor. Your father would be proud, and I'll make sure nothing stops you from reaching your dreams. Aaliyah's mother broke down crying. Sir, I don't know how to thank you. Robert bent down, holding her shoulders. Don't thank me. Thank your father. He once saved my family. And now it's my chance to return that gift. That ring you wear, it's not just your strength, it's our bond. Years later, Aaliyah would become one of the youngest and brightest automotive engineers of her time. But she never forgot the day she stood on a street corner with a rusty toolbox and met a man whose life she unknowingly repaired, just as she fixed his Mustang. And Robert? The arrogant millionaire was gone. In his place stood a man who believed in people, in dreams, in kindness, because one little girl reminded him of what truly matters. That silver ring wasn't just jewelry. It was a symbol of sacrifice, strength, and hope. And this story reminds us, never underestimate anyone. Even the smallest hands can hold the greatest power. True wealth isn't money, but the lives we touch and uplift, and sometimes fate brings people together to heal old wounds and create new beginnings. So next time you see someone struggling, remember Aaliyah, a little girl who fixed a Mustang, but more importantly, fixed a man's broken heart.